Welcome to this tutorial on how to use the Circles feature in the Gospel Living app, presented by The Daily Feast. To get started, make sure that you have the app downloaded to your device. If you've not done this yet, please pause the video and do that now. Once you open the app, if it's your first time using it, you will see a welcome screen. Tap on the Start Exploring button down at the bottom. The landing page or open screen will be the Discover feature within the app. If you have not signed in yet, tap on the My Profile button on the bottom right. Here you will see a Sign In button near the top. Tap on that and enter the username and password that you would use to log into your church account. After you've logged in, tap on the Circles button on the bottom navigation. Here you should see two different types of circles, your joined circles and your other circles, each of which you are automatically assigned to. These are pre-populated based on your church records and/or your callings. For the example of this video, let's take a look at one of the circles that I'm assigned to. Let's open up the Elders Quorum circle here. As you can see, there is a message that says no shared content. This simply means that no one has shared any messages or content in this circle yet. Once people start messaging in these circles and sharing content, you will see these threads begin to grow. Keep in mind that any messages or content that are shared in any circles will be visible to everyone who has access to that circle. In this case, there are 137 people assigned to the Elders Quorum circle, and each one of them will get a notification on their phone every time a new message appears in that circle. You can turn these notifications on and off by tapping on the information icon in the top right. Down in the bottom in the options section, you can turn your notifications on and off by toggling this button. If this button is turned off, you won't get any notifications on your phone if someone sends a message in this circle. If you don't want any notifications from any of your circles, then you can turn this off in each one of your different circles. In this information view, you can also read the code of conduct for the circle, as well as see all the members and administrators of the group. For the sake of privacy, I'm blurring out everyone's names who are members of this circle. On the main messaging page of any circle, you can also see the members of that circle by tapping on the icon of the people in the top right. If you'd like a more detailed view of each circle member, you can tap on any individual to see more information. Again, here I'm blurring out any contact information for privacy purposes. To actually start messaging within a circle, navigate back to the main messaging section of any circle. Down at the bottom, you'll see a place to write a message. Tap where it says Share a Message and begin typing on the keyboard. So I don't actually want to send a message to everyone right now, so I'm not going to tap on the blue arrow on the right that would actually send this message if I wanted it to go live. In addition to sending text-based messages in your circles, you can also share content from the Discover section of the app. To do this, navigate to the Discover page by tapping on the far left button in the bottom navigation bar that looks like an image with a few lines beneath it. From the Discover page, select a piece of content that you want to share. For this example, let's take a look at this image that says Answers on it. To share this content in a circle, tap on the icon in the top right that has the speech bubbles with an arrow pointing up. From here, select which circle or circles that you want to share this content in. For this example, I'm going to select my Elders Quorum and adult circles that I'm assigned to. I can see which circles the content will be shared in before I actually send it by looking at the list at the top that has the blue check mark icons on the right. Down at the bottom, I can add a message with the content, or I can send it without a message by tapping on the blue up arrow on the right of the message field. Once this is sent, everyone in the circles you selected will be able to see the content that you shared. So that's the overview on how to use circles. We hope this has been educational and that the Circles feature helps you in your ministering and gospel living. Visit ourdailyfeast.com for more tips, tricks, and gospel-related materials. Make sure to share this with anyone who is just learning how to use the Gospel Living app, and thanks for watching.
It's the story of some lovely ladies
who were serving in Relief Society. All of them were stuck at home due to COVID. That's the way they became the Lady Bunch. The The Lady Bunch.
That's the way they became the Lady Bunch. Do-do-do-do-do. Hello, 13th Ward. No, we are not the Lady Bunch. We are the new Relief Society presidency. We've had some changes, so we want to introduce ourselves to you. I'm Karen Parkinson, and I'm the Relief Society president. I've lived here in the ward for almost 10 years and been in this calling for just over 2 years.
Hi, I'm Lizzie Maurer, and I've only been in the ward for about 6 months.
Hi, I'm Whitney Moores, and I've been in the ward for about a year. You probably recognize my name as the person who used to set up your ministry interviews.
I'm Jessica Sontheimer. I'm the Relief Society secretary, and I've been in the ward for about a year and a half.
Okay, it's great to have these ladies working together now. Lizzie is one of the counselors, Whitney's the other counselor, and we don't have Brittany Barney here, but she is the ministering secretary. She'll be calling you to make interviews.
Hi, everyone. This is Farah from Zoom, and we are back to share with you some of the fundamental in-meeting controls once you launch your first Zoom meeting. So in order to walk you through, I will share my entire screen. We'll go through some of the options together. You should be able to see my desktop at this point, so you can see the Zoom meeting that's in here. Basic controls, you'll see muting and unmuting capability on the lower left-hand corner. If I were to click the mute button and try to speak, we will get a pop-up to alert you that you are muted, and this is what it'll look like. We can also use the up arrow here to select a different headset. So if you join a meeting and you're not hearing anything, you might want to double check and make sure that your AirPods or your headset is connected and configured in here. If it's not, you can click audio settings to get to an audio dashboard to help configure and test your equipment. You'll see the start and stop video option. So if you're a little nervous to start meeting over Zoom with your video on, You can simply click the video off button to show a profile picture if you've created one. Otherwise, I always recommend having video on so you can make eye contact with your audience. Communication is 70% body language, so being able to see all of your coworkers, counterparts, or people that you're working externally allows you to anticipate when someone might need to pause you to ask a question. You'll also be able to see if people are following along with what you're teaching them or speaking about. Same thing here, up arrow will allow you to select any camera equipment. Of course, the FaceTime video camera is built into my MacBook, so you can use that, or if you have an external camera, you can plug that in and Zoom will recognize it. Moving on, we have the ability for you to invite participants on the fly. You'll see across the top as well, you'll always have an option to email. If you're on our free version of Zoom, you probably won't see room systems, Zoom rooms, or phone, but you will always be able to send an email invitation out through your default email, whether it's Outlook or Gmail. You'll also see a manage participants at the bottom. So right now, this is letting us know that only one person is connected to our meeting. If I click the button, it allows me to expand to see a list of everybody that has joined. I will always be at the top of this list if I am the host, and then everybody else will show up alphabetically in this list. Folks that unmute themselves will also bubble up to the top in case I need to hover over them and click mute. When you hover over people in the meeting, you'll always have a mute option and a drop-down that will give you a few additional action items. So you can mute them, you can give them host permissions, you can remove them from the meeting if they're not supposed to be there. We'll move on to our shared content button. This is something that you'll notice everyone in your Zoom meeting has. I love this feature so much because it gives anyone the ability to share content, not just the host. By clicking the green button, I will also get a pop-up asking me what I would like to share before I share it, so you never have to worry about sharing your messy desktop. Clicking this button, you'll see the pop-up on my screen here. I can select a specific desktop. For example, you can see my cluttered desktop over here. I will not share with you, but I can choose a clean desktop. I can choose a specific application like just a web browser or just a PowerPoint presentation. And of course, if you want to share a video on YouTube, you'll want to select that button and make sure you're clicking Share Computer Sound and optimizing the video clip for your audience before you hit the blue share button, and then that will go live for everyone on the other end. I'll go ahead and hit the stop share button now to show you 2 or 3 features that can piggyback off of this. Let me go back to my main desktop. Once we are in shared mode, you'll notice an annotation tool. If you're the host, this bar will show up at the top with a pen tool. If you're a participant, you'll see at the top, it should say whoever the host is sharing. There should be a little drop down that says more options. If you click more options, that will bring you to your pen tool. If you don't see this for whatever reason on your screen when you are live in a meeting, you may need to hit the escape button because you might be in full screen mode. But with annotation, it'll expand into a toolkit that I can use to use a spotlight tool. I can also use it to draw shapes on my screen, and also I can just freeform anything as well. So I can say hello from Denver and draw that on here as well. So this is something that anyone in your audience, not just the host, can be annotating live while you're sharing content. So if you have questions, you can circle and say, what kind of plant is this? And I'll be able to answer that question for you. The host will also be able to clear the drawing, and the host can also use their more options to basically disable annotation for guests when they're in the meeting. You'll see disable attendee annotation. You can also see who's drawing on your screen, which is a pretty cool feature. Now, if you want to restrict others in the audience from sharing their content and make it host only, you can simply leverage the up arrow, which is right here at the bottom of my screen. You'll see this up arrow lets me go into advanced sharing, and this pop-up will allow me to make it a host only share. So this will restrict users from sharing anything out of turn that might be distracting. And I think the final feature that we'll review on this recording before we go into our advanced would be the ability for you to record a session. So I've already started recording, so it shows my only options are to pause the recording or stop the recording outright. Now, if I wasn't recording, I'd have a circle that would allow me to initiate the record. I'd like to note out here that only the host of the meeting has permission to record. If you are a free user, you will be able to record directly on your laptop. If you are a licensed user, you will be able to record out to the cloud, which is what I'm doing now. So this recording will come up with a link that I can share with others when it's done. Last but not least, don't forget to end the meeting. When you're done with a meeting, you'll get a pop-up allowing you to leave if you need to head out early, or end the meeting for everybody. We are always going to recommend that you make sure you end the meeting for everyone so you can go start your next meeting. Thank you again for watching this recording. I hope you learned a little bit about some of the basic controls when you start your first Zoom meeting.
Ministering brothers and sisters will have a ministering interview with their local leaders at least once each quarter. These quarterly interviews will be focused on individuals and families.
The purpose of the interview, as President Russell M. Nelson has explained it this morning, is to counsel together about the well-being of assigned families and individuals. President Nelson again has stated something of what the agenda might include. I copied off the questions he said would typically be raised in a ministering interview. How are the families and their individual members getting along temporally and spiritually? What are their challenges? How are those challenges being met, and how can we help? Are there current efforts and long-range plans moving them closer to the Lord? That really distills the essence of what we're wanting to talk about, counsel together about in this ministering interview.
One of the other benefits is the opportunity to encourage ministering brothers and sisters, to teach them, to help them to see ways that they can minister differently and more effectively. That's an opportunity that the leaders have that can also benefit everyone.